Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the All Jammed Up podcast presented by One World Brewing and Devil's Foot Beverage. Today is Thursday, February 6th, and I'm your host, Clint Dotson. Today's guest, we have Jared Sage Cowen from the band Big Shrimp.
Well, I heard old Leopard coming from a mile and a half away. I stepped out on the street there, and here's what I had to say. I said, hey now, slow that old thing down. This city ain't your highway, and you're tearing up my town. Now, Leopard, racing for the sun. Got a 502 with a North Bell, he's letting the ponies run.
Good morning, fools. Happy Friday, Junior, guys. Hope you guys have all had a great week so far. It is Billy Strings Weekend 1 here in Asheville this week. Super exciting things coming. We talked about them all on Monday. But find me. I will be on lot on Saturday doing interviews, getting some stories from vendors, getting some wook tales, all the stuff that I know you guys want. I'll be doing the heavy lifting and talking to people on lot Saturday. So come out there, try to find me. Today's guest for the interview is Jared Sage Cowen. He is a musician from Long Island. He lives on Long Island, but no longer. He now moves to Connecticut. And he kind of came on last minute. I had some issues with booking this week, mainly my fault, just not really planning ahead. And I was kind of in a pickle, didn't think I was going to have an interview for you guys today. And then Jared actually hit me up on Instagram, I think Tuesday. We were able to set something up Wednesday. And we had a good interview. He's a musician from Connecticut, from New York, lives in Connecticut now. And he was previously in a band called Baked Shrimp, and he's now in a band called Big Shrimp. Um, Seems like they're still a pretty new band. We talk about it a bunch though. And he's got his own solo album coming out next Friday on Valentine's Day that we'll talk about a bunch too. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But no more from me. Let's get right into it. Interview with Jared.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm.
How's it going, guys? Today's guest we have Jared Cowen up from Connecticut. How's it going, Jared?
Good. Thanks so much for having me on. Appreciate you.
Thanks for reaching out. I know it was kind of last minute. I had someone else kind of flake this week, so I needed someone for Thursday's episode. So I'm glad you reached out to me. I'm glad we were able to set something up.
Of course. Right
For
on.
sure. So before we get too far into the new music coming up and the new band and all that, I know you said you just moved from to Connecticut. Where'd you move from?
Oh, Long Island.
Long Island. Okay, and is that where you grew up?
Yeah. Yeah, born and raised. Born and raised. Strong Island.
Okay, gotcha. Are you a
Yeah.
big Islanders fan, anything like that?
Oh yeah. No, I'm actually home on Long Island right now because I went to the Islander game last night. So
Okay.
driving back up to Connecticut tonight. But yeah, I'm a big Islanders fan.
Where does it come from in Long Island or on Long Island? Why do you say on Long Island?
Because you stand on an island, right? You don't stand in an island.
Okay, fair enough. I didn't know. So growing up in Long Island, is that where you started playing music?
Oh yeah, yeah. I took lessons like at the local music store, and then eventually, as I got older, started teaching lessons there. But yeah, I've played since 4 years old. At the and yeah, same stayed with the same school locally.
Okay, who got you into playing guitar?
It was my parents who signed me up for lessons when I was 4. Um, So, it's just like, sure, I wasn't really given a choice, I guess.
Okay,
But I wasn't like, I was never, like, I mean, I teach a lot of students who sometimes doesn't really seem like the student is, I mean, he's like, he or she is that age and doesn't really seem like they're totally into wanting to do like play the instrument or practice, and the parent kind of forces it, and then you get the students who really like doing it. I was more of the latter. Just like I really liked playing the instrument from a young age. It was never
okay.
really felt like a chore to me.
I know how hard that is too, because I used to coach soccer a couple years ago, and I did it for a few years. and it's really hard to, at least for a team. I'm sure it's different than just individual lessons, but like for a team, there's kids that really want to be there, really want to get better, and then there's kids that just their parents are making them go out there. So I know that's a
Yeah.
challenge when like you have some kids that care and some kids who are just there to check a box for their parents.
Yeah, for sure.
When you started playing guitar and you realized you were kind of getting good at it, is there like a specific player or a specific band that you kind of were like driving for when you were younger?
Well, I mean, I always consider I mean, my parents had taken me to concerts like really, really young, like just like out of the womb, basically. So like I count those as concerts I was at, but like um, what I think back to like when my very first concert like memory is, it's Phish at Nassau Coliseum in 2003, February
Okay.
28th. That's like I was four, and it was all like the same week that basically had my first guitar lesson, um, and saw Fish
So
at
you
that
remember
show.
seeing them when you were 4 years old?
Yeah, so like that's like my earliest memories. Like literally, like my earliest memories go back to that week in February where I think my first lesson was like 2:21:03, and then the Fish show was 2:28:03.
Damn.
Like those are like my first memories. So like, and they're associated with two major things in my life. So yeah, so I mean, that like I'm sure that concert had to do a lot with my willingness to stay with the instrument and strive.
Okay. And how many times have you seen Fish now?
Too many to care to admit.
Come on, you got to give us something.
I think I'm up to like 180 something.
Jeez,
Yeah,
180 times.
I'm something in that range.
That
I
is
have to.
crazy. Is there a specific Fish show that sticks out to you?
Man, I mean, like that one does, but like, I don't know. I still just enjoy seeing the band and just like I've immense respect for them as musicians at 60 years old now.
Yeah.
And what they do and how they've really changed the whole music landscape. And
Hmm.
like how, especially in our music scene of the jam band genre, they pioneered a whole existence really. So I mean, um, I have so much respect for them. And the shows are still very enjoyable to me to go to. So when I can, it's got to see them quite a lot this past year, which was awesome. Other years, sometimes I'll be on the road myself, so it'd be bittersweet during those moments. But yeah, no, I mean, and favorite show, I don't know. That's tough for me to choose. I have a lot of
Okay.
favorite ones.
So
Yeah.
I've interviewed a lot of not a lot. Everybody that I've interviewed so far on the show has been a guitar player, and everyone says their inspiration and stuff came from Jerry Garcia, or they want to play like Billy Strings does. So I'm guessing your inspiration, who you kind of model your playing after, would be Trey.
Trey's definitely my favorite of I'm not shy to admit that of who has had the biggest influence on me as a guitar player, musically. Yeah, Trey Anastasio, absolutely. I grew up through the school system studying a lot of jazz,
Okay.
um, and got more into like Django Reinhardt and through also I had to study a bunch of classical also for going into like college auditions and stuff. So like the classical and jazz kind of was brought into my school curriculum a lot as I was trying for colleges and things of
Okay.
that nature. And then they actually ended up not mattering. The college I went to, I didn't even have to audition for, but um, I auditioned for quite a bunch of music programs. So um,
Gotcha.
so I eventually through the school system did branch into jazz and classical and things of that nature. But of course, rock roots. You mentioned, I mean, of course, Jerry Garcia is up there for me, and David Gilmour. A lot of the classic guys you would expect. Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
You know, who I model. I try and emulate a little bit.
Okay. And then so you started playing guitar at 4, did lessons, then you went to school for music as well. After school, is that kind of when you started these bands and kind of realized that this is what I want to do for a living is be in music and tour?
Oh, it was always like probably since I was a kid. Since like I was in grade school, I've wanted to be on the road and be in a band. And I was forming bands as kids, and just
Yeah. Playing at talent shows, stuff like that.
oh yeah, I think I've played a few talent shows. I think
Yeah.
so. But um, I battled the bands even, and my band was rejected from it, and I ended up writing a song about that one, which stayed in the Baked Shrimp repertoire. But yeah, I've always, I formed Baked Shrimp in my freshman year of college, along with my college band, Bad Gouda.
So you were a founding member of Big Shrimp.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so yeah, in college I was forming these projects. I should mention I didn't go to school necessarily for music. I ended up going to school for music industry, which it's a little bit different. I still took a lot of music classes, but the curriculum was focused on music business and music management and things of that
Okay.
nature.
Gotcha. And that's you do some of that still today, but we'll touch
Oh
on that
yeah, that's
kind of on the
that's
back end.
that's a lot of what I do now.
Okay.
It's my 9 to 5 pretty much is the music business side of things.
So tell me, I never listened. I haven't heard of baked shrimp, but I never really baked shrimp, but I hadn't really listened to them a whole bunch. Tell me kind of, I know you said you're in a new band now called Big Shrimp. Tell me how that's kind of like what happened to Big Shrimp and what's the changes now with Big Shrimp.
Sure. Yeah. So, Bait Shrimp was from 2017, January 2017. We parted ways at the end of. We announced that we were parting ways at the end of 2023, and we finished up a couple of shows in the very beginning of 2024. So that was a more of a power trio. We did a lot of heavy touring. Played over 400 shows. Lots of festivals. But that was that straight up, you know, hard to compare like a specific band really.
Yeah.
It was a power trio sound.
So is it
All
is the is Big Shrimp now? Is there any of the same members from Big Shrimp other than you?
So when it started, it was me and the drummer. That's switched since Big Shrimp has become a band. So right now, no. So Big Shrimp is a completely whole new project.
Okay.
I look at them as two different uh, worlds. Um, Big Shrimp is more Big Shrimp's a quartet. So fuller sound, a bit more polished in certain areas. Um, Emphasis. I've always emphasis on songwriting, but I've always had an emphasis on songwriting. So, but a lot of different songs, new songs. Max is an awesome songwriter, my bassist, and yeah, there's just a lot of like that. Basically, I would say sums it up. It's a
Okay.
fuller sound, a little more emphasis, focus on singing as well. Trying to get more harmonies going in the mix and yeah, different material, different
Okay.
covers. Yeah.
And you said that Big Shrimp, you guys were doing a lot of festivals, kind of big on the circuit for that. And I did some research, and I saw that you guys played with Phil Lesh, the Disco Biscuits, Twiddle, Dopapod, Andy Frasco. Is there any? Those are all pretty sweet names, especially Phil Lesh. That's awesome that you guys got to play with him.
Yeah, he wouldn't clarify. He didn't sit in with us.
Oh, okay.
We opened on the same day of the festival on the same
Oh,
stage.
okay.
So it was like the main stage of Great South Bay Music Festival, and we were like one of the 5 bands on that stage that day, or four or 5 bands, and Phil was the headliner.
Gotcha. So have you played with any of those other bands?
Yeah, we were direct support for most of the ones you mentioned there.
Okay.
Disco Biscuits, we were direct support for. Do you mean play with as in like on stage at the same time as them, or?
Yeah, I thought maybe I misread it. I was kind of doing this in a hurry
Oh
earlier, but
no,
were you guys
yeah.
playing on stage with them at all?
Um, they Aqueous brought me up for a tune. That was very cool of them to do. Um, we've had countless sit-ins. We've had Mahali from Twiddle play with us before. Um, I had a lot of Dogs and Pile Boys who are still good friends of ours. Those guys have shared stages with us a bunch.
Okay.
Um, so
Yeah, I had Jimmy Law in here, and I was going to ask about that because
that's
you guys
that's
kind of grew up in the same area.
yeah. Uh, no, those are Jersey guys. Well,
Oh
actually,
yeah,
well,
okay,
Brian is actually Long Island. So both grew up on Long Island. But I didn't meet Brian until I didn't meet any of the Dogs guys until we were doing shows together.
okay,
Um, but yeah, no, that's where I saw your podcast for the first time. Was I saw uh, Jimmy Law on here. So
cool,
those are all
cool,
those are all good buddies of ours.
awesome. So now let's get into your solo album that comes out today. Is this episode is going to come out tomorrow, February 6th. So your album comes out next Friday, the 14th, correct?
Yeah, February 14th, Valentine's Day.
Okay. You were nice enough to let me listen to it today before the interview, so I could kind of familiarize myself with it. I have some questions, but before I do that, I just kind of want to hear your take on it. It's not your first solo album, right? It's your third one.
Yeah, this is my third. Yeah, I would call it my third. I put out like
Okay.
something last year that was just like a 12-minute album of. I don't really count that. I'll call it my third.
Okay. So
So
let's just what does this album mean to you? I mean, in between two bands, doing your own thing, what does this album mean to you, and what's different about it than your old stuff?
yeah, for sure, that's a great question. I definitely think the new album is more shows a more mature side of my writing. It's definitely not like I wouldn't say it's very similar at all to anything else I've done. Um, it's definitely more, just like I said, more mature. There's not really, it's 9 songs, which is a little bit shorter than what I would usually do, usually between 10 and 12. But 9 songs that each one is lyrically more, um, lyrically more mature, and musically a little bit more mature as well, and not as chaotic as some other writing I've done, which some people might you know be less fans of, and other people
Yeah.
might be more fans of. But this was more of one where I was kind of just didn't really want to cater to any audience necessarily. Just kind of do my own thing, and a lot of them were just kind of written on the spot as I pressed record and just kind of see where it went. Um, there's a couple songs that I had already played before. I do a lot of solo acoustic shows.
Hmm.
Those shows tend to be, unless if priorly announced, those shows tend to be very cover heavy.
Yeah.
Because I'm playing more for the clientele. But I will do a few originals. So there's a few originals that I'll test out in those types of settings that ended up being on that album. But still, like I would say, like the majority of people who listen to my music, well, I'd probably say almost all of them, haven't heard those songs because they just haven't really been played in a public setting, other than when I just want to test it out on an
Yeah.
audience that doesn't really know me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that's how I would say the new album is more of a mature side of Jared Cowen.
Yeah, I listened to it. I listened to it all today. And I really enjoyed it. I got like a psychedelic rock vibe to it. It's kind of like trancy at some points. But I did notice it was. I listened to the lyrics. I thought the lyrics were well written. I thought a lot of the songs were really good.
Thank
Not
you.
really stories, but messages that they were conveying. But I did get a vibe that some of the songs were kind of melancholy almost. Not necessarily sad, but like One of the songs, I think the first song, Untold Truth, it's easier to coast, and then Floating with No Purpose at All. It kind of gives like a melancholy vibe. What do you think kind of motivated you to write those? Is there some like any instances of things that are going on right now that kind of led to that writing, or is that just the easiest songwriting for you?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I definitely agree that they're definitely more melancholy lyrics than a lot of other like a lot of my writing is not. I don't really write really. That's why I'm saying it's not. It's really not like you would listen to this album and you wouldn't even know that I wrote it, kind of way. One of the songs I do have to credit the lyrics to Mr. Pride Glass if you end up watching and listening to this. It was Lost in Time is actually the first song. I think the first song I've ever released slash written that I did not write the. That's a song of mine that I did not write the lyrics to. That was one that we kind of wrote together, but it was mostly his lyrics. It was just like we played this Jared and Friends show out in Western New York, and we're all hanging out after the show and just having a blast. And there's acoustic guitar in the green room, and just like wrote songs. Like, it was really cool. It was a lot of fun, and like a lot of people who I didn't even know, and call him Pride Glass.
Okay.
He's a buddy, and he's the lyricist for Lost in Time, which happens to also be a very melancholy type style song. But yeah. So also, it definitely like it's like you mentioned, it's a place in my life where it's I'm 26 and there's different change. I'm with moving to new place and like you said in between bands and different
Yeah.
relationships of nature and lead to certain lyrics and certain vibes. A lot of times my songs aren't always from my perspective. Also, they're from another perspective, and or just based on loose scenarios or situations that are a little more uh, like hard to pinpoint an exact like example of
Okay.
sort of like
S- So
so
for you, do the lyrics come first or does the music come first?
so the music and lyrics are typically written together.
Okay.
The lyrics never come first.
Okay.
Um, Besides Lost in Time.
Okay.
Because that was from a poem. But the lyrics, yeah, don't really I don't think have came first ever.
Okay. So and in the second song, Play the Part, is that right?
Yeah.
Cool. So that one kind of has a different feel to me than the rest of the album did. It almost felt bluegrassy at some points.
Yeah, yeah, that's a total. Yeah.
So is that
Shout out
something
to
that you dip your toes into a lot? Is
yeah,
bluegrass music?
I
Yeah.
love playing bluegrass. I absolutely
Yeah.
love. I love Billy Strings, so what he's doing as well. You mentioned him earlier in the interview. Um,
We got
but
6 nights coming to Nashville this week, starting
oh yeah,
tomorrow. Yeah.
that's this week. Right
Yep.
on. Yeah, I love Billy. But yeah, I love bluegrass. Country western. Um, and yeah, play the part is my new bluegrass number. I have a few from like a old baked shrimp albums. Black and Blue is another bluegrass tune of mine. I've probably like five or six. But yeah, yeah. No, I'm a big fan of that one. And shout out to Nick Frankel, my buddy who played banjo on Play the
Okay.
Part, and yeah, he did a great job with it.
So do you play any other instruments or is just guitar for you?
Oh, I can. Like all the keyboard stuff you hear in there is all me playing it. It's nothing like, I don't go out and take solos and stuff, but like I'm able to add textures and, mess around, whatnot.
So that's perfect because that leads me to my next question. This album says it's a solo album, but I hear different, I hear drums in a couple songs, keys. Do you play all of that?
So the keys I'm playing all that, the bass I'm playing all that. Um the drums I programmed through MIDI.
Okay.
Besides, I don't want to mess up the name. Vicente Ferreira is the
Okay.
drummer on Highest in the Splendor. Um, so I just wanted to put that
Nice.
out.
So can you kind of paint a picture for us non-musicians, what that looks like when you're making a solo album and you're singing and then you're playing the guitar, you're doing the keys, like how hard is that to get it all to mix together correctly?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like I'm not a mixing engineer. I yeah, I mean, I can mix, and I did mix the whole album. For me, I just like to have my hands in that process
Yeah.
on my solo stuff. With all the old Big Shrimp albums, I mean, that was always someone else mixing that. Besides Bubble Suit, that was our COVID album. And so that was different. But I like just, and I feel like I just get better and better with the process each time I do one. Like I thought the mix from my second album was better than my first, and now I think the mix from this album is better than the second.
Yeah, I
So
thought it sounded great.
yeah, so I just like growing um on that front, the mixing front, and I do it more as a producer. I'm thinking like trying to hear, oh, like where would like wind chimes sound cool, or different sound effects and messing around, different plugins and stuff. I have fun doing that. So and these solo albums are really, other than like I mentioned Vicente and Nick Frankel being guest musicians on this, on two different songs, but like these solo albums are really, I'm doing everything. So which it's a good thing and a bad thing, good because I really just have control over the whole thing and can like really see a vision in my head of which way I want to go about it, but then also, not really having so many ears on it to so there's ear fatigue, which is like I started working on this. I think I started working on it in November, late November, maybe even early December. Like I put together pretty
Of
quick
last year?
of 2024. Yeah,
Dang, so you did all that in like 2 months?
yeah, yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
And like, but also like taking like a week off entirely from it, like
For
maybe even like
Christmas.
more than that. No, just
Yeah.
no, just like
Oh, just 'cause.
no, just because like I said, ear fatigue. So like it's like
Mm.
good to like just take your ears off because you start hearing things that like might sound good to you in the moment, and then because you just hear it so much and your ears just kind of trick you to hear it that way, and then
I can't imagine that because my first podcast that I edited, I listened to the whole thing through, like the interview and everything, and now I don't even listen to it. I'm just like, it is what it is. So I can't
oh
imagine how much goes
yeah,
into editing that.
that's a lot of my music. I'm here to promote my music. No, but like no, I know what you mean. Like if like listening to back to like early Baked Shrimp recordings, and just like there's always you're finding ways to improve, and that's why I hope that I look back at Vexatiously Gracious and years from now when I'm on my fifth or sixth album, I'm like, oh, you know, fuck that,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I can't even imagine like how, because I feel like typically we are our own biggest critics. Like
oh
ourselves
yeah,
are always the most critical of everything we do. And a podcast is one thing because it's just talking. Like, and if I skip over a word, like everyone skips over a word. But when you're sitting there making music, listening back to it, and like I would hear one rag note and be like, delete it all, do it all over again. So I can't imagine how tough that is for you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's everything is a learning experience, and you try and just grow. You don't want to like shut out all the bad stuff, because it's hard to grow. So
Yeah.
try to learn.
So you mentioned the band or the album name. What was it again?
Vexatiously Gracious.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, so that actually like that's probably the oldest song on the album. As far as, 'cause I feel like I debuted that. So that I mean, again, like that's not a song I've played with with the full band. Only like a few solo acoustic shows. So if you might know that one, but like still like it's a new song, but it's the oldest one, probably a year ago. So there's less like I guess there's less personal. Um, I want to say less personal connection because I am very connected with that tune, but but so vexatiously is like annoyingly or stubbornly trying wanting to do something, and graciously is being gracious. So the song like it's kind of like just like kind of you go through shit in life, and you don't always wanna want to do what you're doing or whatever. There's it's about getting over getting over hurdles,
Yeah,
and in
they
a
always are
unique
popping
way of
up.
putting it, in a unique in taking two words that are clashing with each other, and you know it's not just like about getting by, though. I don't want to put it that way.
Yeah,
It's but it there's always a path forward, and there's always um, a gracious way of making an ungracious situation pleasant.
that's a
So
good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Um, so I want to bounce over to, like you said, you called it your 9 to 5. Booking agent, artist manager. I imagine you've got to do some pretty cool things through that, met some pretty cool people. Can you shine a little bit of light on what's that like for you?
yeah, so um, when Baked Shrimp broke up in the beginning of last year, um, yeah, I was just like I wanted to I mean I still wanted to get another project going, which I'm glad I'm doing now. Obviously there's a lot going on, but um I wanted to tap more into my other skill set, which is like doing booking stuff and being a concert promoter and a concert producer, and throwing cool events. And you know I did all this stuff for the old band, for over 7 years. Um, like I said, we did over 400 dates. We had booking agents here and there, um, so they booked a bunch, but for the majority, I probably booked over 300 concerts in that time
Damn.
period. And that's another thing where just had to learn how to grow, and as a booking agent, like learn like I'm sure if I looked at my emails from 2017, they're probably hilarious. But like you said, like looking back on your first podcast, right? So like I learned a lot through, I made a lot of connections, and like just learned how to grow a small band like that. I mean, and started from nothing, and
Yeah,
grew to, we weren't famous in a way, but we had our credentials, and so learning how to get a band to that status, learned so much from that. So, I made a lot of mistakes along the way for sure, and trying to learn from those mistakes. And but just felt that I think I would do a good job, just like with another project that's trying to do it. Um, so when the band broke up, I was offered to come on board a roundtable artist, with Alan Roper, over there. He was able to see what I did with baked shrimp, and said, "Hey man, like we could use you over here, if you're trying to get into that side of things." So, I've been with him now. I think actually coming up on a year, um, and it's been great. It's still a learning experience, but now in a professional manner, in a professional way. This is now I'm really I get paid to do this. It's a job, so I take it very seriously, and I want to do right by my artists, and help them. And yeah, so that's one of the things I'm doing now. And then also now I'm working over at Westcott Presents, who we run the Westcott Theater in Syracuse, and also Wonderland Forest, which is a big venue in Lafayette, New York, a little south of Syracuse. That was where we Big Shrimp did the LongCon Festival. That was the event that I produced over there in September. That was kind of how me and Dan Master Marty kind of hit it off, and he wanted to bring me on board the Westcott Presents team. But Wonderland Forest also did Trey Anastasio over there back in last May. We did Bisco Land over there, and then so we got a nice schedule coming up. I haven't announced anything yet, other than Pigeons Playing Ping Pong is going to be there May 31st with the Infamous String Dusters. But so I'm helping out on all the marketing aspects over there. So marketing is something that I did with Baked Shrimp. I was responsible for getting all the ads running, and all the flyers, and making sure the venues were set with their promo materials. So now I'm kind of doing that from the other end of things. But that's a total learning experience in the sense that marketing is actually you go to school for marketing, right?
Yeah.
I went to school for music industry, but I didn't go to school for marketing.
It's a different beast for sure.
It's a different beast. Yeah. Just so that's one that I'm learning every day about, and and having fun with it. That's what it's important for me. It's always important for me to like what I'm doing. I don't think anything I'm doing right now is vexatiously gracious. So
Subtle plug, I like it.
yeah, so I like I like learning from the marketing stuff, but on top of that, I'm also helping Dan over there with some talent buying. So again, on the other end of things, completely from my other job, which is selling the talent. I'm also now buying the talent and marketing the talent. So
Nice.
trying to get all angles on it. But yeah, it's I'm liking doing all the music business stuff as well. That's also something that I'm always a guitar player first, a songwriter first, musician, touring musician. But if I put my second passion on something, it's the music business, music industry, which is why I went that route in college and didn't want to go the music performance route, because I felt, well, I'm going to perform it regardless. I don't need a degree to do it, really. Not that a degree is even necessary to do what I'm doing in that front, but I wanted to learn more about it.
Okay.
So that's why I went that route. But so yeah, from a young age though, always I went to a lot of festivals as a kid, and lots of shows and concerts, and I always was intrigued by how these shows get rolling and set up, and the behind the scenes aspects of them. So
Gotcha. So I did some creeping on your Instagram to prepare for this, and I came
Sure.
across an old post. I don't know what kind of project it was or anything, but the name was Glizzy McGuire. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Not that old. Okay, I wasn't sure. I was like, oh god, what was I doing in college? Like Lizzie McGuire, yeah, yeah, that's a fun little thing. Hoping to do some more shows. I only did one, and I lost the recording for it. I'm pissed.
Oh,
Yeah,
was it
you
just a
can
band
find
you and a couple friends
you
put
can find,
together?
what's that?
Was it just a band you and a couple friends put together?
No, so it's a power trio. It's myself, Luke Beeman from La Special, and our buddy Sumon,
Okay,
from Bridgeport.
nice,
He also plays in Cliffside Push. But
nice.
yeah, so that's a power trio. That's original. We did do a few covers. I think we did all the small things. It's actually it's more of a punk trio, I should say. That was
Okay,
very cool for me. I always like starting these types of projects where it takes me out of my comfort zone. That's one. That's and it was like a fun thing. We did it was a Dopapod pre-party.
okay.
We all live near each other in Connecticut, and just want to do something fun. So it was a Dopapod pre-party. They were playing across the street, and we did the pre-show and just rocked out, um, punk rock style. Just probably not straight punk where like 30-second songs. It wasn't like that. We still
Yeah.
jammed, but like more heavier tunes. Definitely closer to my college band than to what Baked Shrimp did.
Nice.
So yeah, Glizzy McGuire, and I was doing I had a bunch of new songs, and like I specifically for that project, and they'll never be heard unless we unless if we do unless if we do another Glizzy McGuire show. Which I mean, get Luke Beeman on your podcast. I give him shit all the time for it. I say, come on, Luke, let's go, let's go.
All right. I
We
wrote down his
both have
name.
busy,
I'll reach out to him.
we both got busy schedules, so it's harder to
So
find out.
last question I have for you, Jared. You're a busy guy, booking shows, playing shows, writing music, releasing albums. When you're not doing something with music, what do you like to do?
It's always like it is always go mode, like even on weekends, like I'm at a show,
Yeah.
if I'm not like playing or if I'm not working the show in a way, I'm at a show, regardless. But like going to Islander games.
Okay. There you go. There you
That
go.
was nice yesterday, like, that just, sometimes it's nice to just hang out and
I feel you. I
not
feel
have
you.
to. I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl this weekend coming up.
Who you
Going to
taking, Chiefs or Eagles?
I think there's only like I mean, like honestly, like when the playoffs teams were announced, like it was like just let it be anything other than Chiefs Eagles. Sorry to disappoint all my Kansas City and Philadelphia fans, but like those are the two teams that I just really did not want to see. Um, that's what we ended up with. But like
Are you
I
a
think
Giants fan?
I'm a bad Jets and Giants fan. Like I root for them if they're in it, but I root for my fantasy players more.
Okay.
So,
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair
but
enough.
yeah, I mean I'm with the rest of America other than Missouri on this. I'm rooting for Philly.
Gotcha.
I think it's what
All right,
America
man. Well, again, your album comes out next Friday, February 14th. Tell us where it's going to be, where we can get it, how we can listen to it.
Yeah, all streaming platforms. Vexatiously Gracious. If you forget how to spell it, just like go to my Facebook page. I just made a new Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/Jared Sage. Jared Sage Music. Facebook.com/Jared Sage Music or jaredsagemusic.com. Or go to my Instagram, Jared Sage Music. And you'll be able to find where I post Vexatiously Gracious. But you can also just type my name in on your Spotify or Apple.
And that will all be plugged in the description below.
Yes, the good old
Perfect.
description. But yeah, no, I'll be doing an album release party. Got a good band together for that. That's on release day, Valentine's Day. So bring your significant other with you. It starts late, so come early for dinner, and stick around for afterwards. It's gonna be rowdy. That's at Bryac, right on Fairfield Avenue in Black Rock. Gonna be doing the whole album and more. So,
Hell yeah. Well, Jared, I'm glad we were able to get this set up, man. I'll be on the lookout for that album, and hopefully our paths cross soon with Big Shrimp.
yeah, sounds good. Thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate you.
That was legitness. Yeah, it was, huh?
Welcome back from that interview with Jared. Hope you guys are all enjoyed that interview. It's now time for Chloe's Corner. And before we start, may I add, I made a mistake. Chloe and I, we usually get home, eat our dinner, take our edibles, and then chill. So today we ate dinner, ate our edibles, and then did Chloe's Corner. And then we went upstairs to go edit it, and I forgot to turn the microphones on, so you couldn't hear Chloe for the whole time.
You can't hear me at all.
So now the edibles are kicked in a little bit, and it's a special edition of Chloe's Corner.
I had 3 topics, and I'm trying to recall my first.
The new Kendall Street song.
Kendall Street. Yes. Okay. So today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday, the day that you all are listening. The day prior, on Wednesday, Kendall Street Company released a new song. It is a Paul McCartney cover we did fact check on our first edition,
Yes.
so now I can say it with confidence. Sir Knight Paul McCartney.
I think it's just Sir Paul McCartney. Sir implies the knight.
And who was the other knight?
Elton John is.
Who's Ringo?
Ringo is another dude in the Beatles.
Okay, it is a Beatles guy.
Yeah. I don't know.
And the lizard that Johnny Depp played.
Who? What? Oh, the movie. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, so Paul McCartney's a knight. That's the first topic.
Yeah. No, the song was Candle Street. And then we discovered that Paul McCartney was a knight.
Yes. So that new Candle Street song, they play it very well. They do great. It's slower. I did only listen to it the one time on my car ride home today. And then I switched it over to my second point of conversation. The new Sierra Farrell album. It came out in January. I only discovered it yesterday.
Shouts out to her. She just won 4 Grammys, too.
4 Grammys for the Queen. She looked like a star. She is my star.
She's got crazy teeth.
Yeah, but it's kind of admirable, right?
I don't know.
I do want, that people do those tooth jabs.
Yeah.
I think they're really cool. And I would want one, but that is not ever going to be a thing.
What would you get?
It's just a little diamond
Oh, it's
that
not
you
like-
you glue and you UV light it, and it is permanent on your tooth.
You should get like a lightning bolt. That'd be cool.
Blue for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Blue lightning bolt. Just go around with them.
I would like that. That would be cool.
You would like
I would
that.
like that, yeah.
You
And then
get
I could
such
get
a-
grills.
Yeah, 100%.
That would be cool.
100%. I had a period where I thought grills were cool. I remember I was asking doctors about what they would do to my mouth.
I just realized the other day when we were watching that Kill Tony and Cam Patterson took out his grills halfway through. That must hurt so bad having that in your mouth.
Yeah, I can't even figure out how kids could have done the retainers.
Dude, I had 4 different retainers because I would wake up when I would sleep and then wake up and break them and go back to sleep because they were so uncomfortable. And finally, after the 3rd one, my mom was like, "I'm not getting you anymore. Your teeth are gonna go back."
Aww.
But I would just take it out every night when I would go to sleep and just woke up and it would be broken.
I never got any of the fancy mouth stuff.
I had the
growing up.
expander too. Do you know what that is?
Oh, you were narrow?
My teeth were all fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
I had to get 7 teeth pulled too.
Oh, dude, Oliver had a shark mouth growing up. He
What does
had
that mean?
He had double rows of top teeth. He had to have 14 teeth pulled out. I'll have to find the photo of when he was all puffy cheeked. Oh man, it was funny. He had shark teeth, and then Tom had a gap you could fit a pencil through.
How did you have you've never even been to the dentist? How are your teeth so nice?
They're crooked.
Not that bad though.
No, I do consider myself lucky. I have receding gums.
I do think we
And
glossed
my
over the fact
wisdom
that you've
tooth.
never been to the dentist though.
It's not that crazy. Is it that wild?
I think
I
it's
went
crazy just
when we
because
moved to. We went to the dentist when we moved to America. All of us, all 3 of us, because I remember they put that stuff in my mouth, nasty stuff.
the gauze.
No, the
Oh,
pink
the putty?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that
They
stuff
put
is
that in
gross.
my mouth. So I went. That is the one time I remember going.
Ew.
Ew.
No, the putty stuff. I'm thinking the putty stuff.
Damn, tell me how you really feel.
No. I think you have great teeth, especially for never going to the dentist. That's crazy. I guess though it's really not that crazy. It's just a thing here that you're supposed to go twice a year. I don't really go anymore. I
No,
probably should.
you've been once since we've been together, maybe twice. I think you had insurance at first.
I have insurance now. So I don't go.
There was just in the middle you did not, but at first and now you do. But
Yeah, I went and they were like, "No, everything's good." So I was like, "Why would I go back?"
yeah, you
Nothing
did.
hurts.
Thank you, dude. That's what happened when I first
Yeah.
went.
All right, fair
They were
point.
like, "Have you seen your
Checkmate.
brother's teeth?"
Checkmate. I love how you can see the little 8-ball on the camera today. I feel like it's usually out.
8-ball.
The pillow.
Oh, shout out Alexia. She gave that to me. After I got my 8-ball tattoo, she saw it somewhere and she was like, I had to buy it for you.
That's nice.
I know.
Alright, I interrupted you, sorry.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about the new Sierra Farrell album.
And somehow we got on
way back.
braces.
Way back when we were talking about the Sierra Farrell album. Trail of Flowers, it came out in January. My 3 favorite songs out of it. Don't Let Your Deal Go Down. Not a Grateful Dead cover. I went in completely expecting it. It's not. So
Still the cover though.
It is
Guess
not
who? Scruggs.
I thought you were going to say Paul McCartney. I was like, there's no way they're both doing it.
No, not Paul McCartney. Earl Scruggs.
Earl Scruggs. What else did he do that we discovered yesterday?
I think it was the Korean or the Japanese bluegrass thing we were watching.
Oh yeah, they were
Yeah.
like huge fans of it. Right?
Yeah.
They were like, yes, yeah. He was their, what's it called when you look up to him?
Like an idol.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that
right.
is a crazy thing. If you haven't checked it out, there's like a Japanese bluegrass scene over there, and it's pretty wild. Check
And
it out.
they're not fake Japanese like from America.
No, they're like in Tokyo.
They're like in Tokyo.
But they
are-
sing in English and they're really good.
Yeah.
It's like look up PBS Bluegrass Japan. You'll find it. Pretty cool.
My second favorite Sierra Farrell song off this album, Chitlin Cookin' Time in Cheatham County, simply because that's fun to
That's
say.
a tongue twister.
Yeah, that's fun. I don't even know what Cheatham County is. I thought she was making a joke about a cheater, and then I read the name. It's like Cheatham, so I don't think it's about a cheater. I thought she was like, oh, getting kind of witty with the names. And then the last one, I Could Drive You Crazy. It's funny. It's.
And we just listened to one of them upstairs.
That was that one. I
Oh,
Could Drive You
that
Crazy. Kind of
Okay.
fun. Yeah, great album. I enjoy it. And then my
We had
third.
one more thing too, right?
Yeah, my
Okay.
third and final topic is not music related. I'm starting a garden. I'm putting it here first. I'm gonna grow fruits and veggies.
And with that, you're realizing that you agree you have to start the garden now.
I have to start the garden, but you have to pick up all the dog poop because I did it the last 2 times.
Okay, I will pick up the dog poop this weekend, so then
So
you can
that
start your
I may start toiling over the raised flower bed that we have. So I think I'm gonna do. I was looking into North Carolina soil and what best grows in it. Even though now that I'm thinking about it, I have to buy soil for the flower bed. But I'm gonna do.
steal some from like a neighbor's house.
I used to steal rocks from my neighbor's house, and I kept.
Oh my goodness.
I kept them
This
in
is
a
this Chloe's corner is taking a wild turn.
I would keep them in a shoebox in my closet. I would steal them from my neighbor Jim. And all the ones that look like little quartz, little crystals, I would nab them. And I kept them in a shoebox in my closet. You can ask my mother. She made me get rid of them.
I don't blame her. She was onto something there.
Yeah, she might have been. But I'm going to grow jalapenos. I'm going to grow Brussels sprouts. I am going to grow... I want to look into how it is to grow strawberries. I think they're pretty temperamental, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
My granddad has like a whole greenhouse in his backyard. That's what I strive to be one day.
Well, you got to get something to protect the flower bed from the dog.
Chicken wire. A fence. I'll build a fence.
Build a
But
fence.
How am I meant to get in when I have the chicken?
Oh, we gotta snort on the pod.
How am I meant to get in and tend to my garden if I chicken wire around it?
I think you just it comes in like this, and you just move it. You can just pick it up and move it. Like my grandma used to have some, and she just would pull it. It's like a circle, and then you just there's an opening in it. And you just pull back.
Oh, okay. So it's a straight line. I make it a circle.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so there can
So
be.
like you have access to it.
It just hit me. I was like, how do I enter? But if I have to dig it into the ground. That's why it's going to be difficult. I might have to like make a door out of more chicken
I think
wire.
we're thinking of something different. I'll have to get you in touch with my gardening guy.
With your chicken wire guy?
Yeah, my chicken wire guy.
You got a chicken wire guy on speed dial?
I know a guy who knows a guy.
I'm sure you do with the people you know. Bet you somewhere out there's a guy that knows a guy that you know.
Hey, they're your friends too.
They are, and I love them all. I did the same thing. I almost forgot it in the first recording. I do have a vendor to shout out. Very hilariously, the first time we recorded this, I did not know this is Alex Bazemore's girlfriend. Alex Bazemore, our first guest of the podcast, our new friend. I had posted on Reddit and was like, yo, everyone shout out your favorite vendors. I'll be shouting them out on the podcast. And her Instagram was one of the top suggestions that I saw. And then I saw she was an Asheville local. So I was like, oh, it's got to be her. And then find out literally after or during recording the last thing that it's Alex's girlfriend. Anyway, it is.
I have it pulled up here on Instagram already.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So you can read the name because I don't have it.
Yeah, Sleepy Toad Tie-Dye Co.
Such a cute name, by the way. I do love a frog.
Yeah, but we were scrolling here and we were looking at it and I was like, isn't that Alex's girlfriend Ellie? And then she was like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, didn't know that. I like read the name off. I spelt her name out. I was like, this is her.
Yeah, she's got some cool stuff though.
And then Clint was like, yo, wait. Yeah, her tie-dyes are super sick. I did one tie-dye shirt one time. I think it was the coolest thing ever.
Me too, I wear it all the time.
He wears it like every other day. It's the most basic tie-dye.
It's cool though.
Getting good at tie-dye would be fun.
You should do it. I'll support it. I'll give you all my white shirts.
Yep.
Oh, Jeezy Pete. I think that about wraps up. Are we good?
Yeah, that's probably all we need to hit on.
Okay. Well, guys, if
Sorry, everybody.
we're having fun. We're having fun here. If you're in Nashville at Billy this weekend, catch us on Saturday on lot doing interviews. If you just want to come say hi, get a sticker, that's cool too. But if you want to sit down for a few minute conversation and see if we can put it on, then come on by. And that's it for me. What about you, Chloe?
That is it for me. I'm not going to say too much more.
Alrighty. Have a great weekend, guys. And remember, wherever you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be. See you guys.
Come along, have a drink with me. We can talk about the world and how the world is turned so slow. Day that I found cars they drive and planes they fly. I look into the sun and the sky, you're so bright. It's you that I have found. Oh, and I know there's not much longer now. Or if the world would just slow down.